Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Rising up, back in the court. Lost my mind with just Bureski. I talked the bullshit and he told me to stop, just a judge and his will to deny. So many times I wanted to get mad. I wanted to get my way. I lost my grip on the dreams of the past. Judge Bureski, motions denied. It's his eye of the justice. It's his will to fight. It's his rising up to the challenge of me being a hussy. I'm the last lone survivor who lost my way in this fight, and I know I will never forget Judge Bureski. Oh my goodness, it's just been a terrible 2 days in court. That judge, I put in another motion and that other judge denied it once again. If only Judge Bureski would get off the case, then I would win the case. I would do so good. But as I sit here waiting for Monday, for the third day of the trial, I've decided that maybe it's a good thing, that maybe I should write Judge Bureski a personal letter. But I'm not going to give it to him until after I'm found not guilty. I'll wait till after this case is over, and I'm going to give it to him. So I think I'm going to, let him have the letter, and this is what it's going to say. Dear Judge Bureski, I love myself, and I know you deep down, Judge Bureski, love me too. In fact, everyone loves Lori. I can't imagine anyone who doesn't love me. I have no need to apologize to you, Judge. You, Judge Bureski, must understand, accept, and tolerate me no matter what I do or what I say. I have few equals in this world, and so far I have yet to meet one. I mean, Chad, he wasn't my equal. Little does he know that, I never felt him when we had sex, but I pretended he had the great big kielbasa and that he was this big burly man. Oh, give me a break. Chad Daybell is nothing more than just a piece of meat for me. Most people don't measure up to me, Judge Bureski. Without me to lead everyone, others would flounder. And that's exactly why, Judge, I got rid of my competent attorneys, because I knew that they wouldn't do as good a job as me. Judge, I appreciate that there are rules and obligations in the court system and all of that, but those mostly don't apply to me because I don't have the time or the inclination to abide by them. Don't you understand that? Besides, rules are for the average person, Judge, you know deep down in your judge's robes there, deep down in the deepness of you, I am a goddess. I am translated. You know it, Judge. I've lived all these lives. I do wish that we could be equals, Judge Boreski, but we're not and never will be. I will remind you with unapologetic frequency that I am the smartest person in the room and how well I did in my first and second day in court and even in pretrial. I want you to understand that, Judge Boreski. I may seem a little bit arrogant and haughty. And that's okay with me. I just don't want to be seen as being like you, Judge Boreski, always being mean and trying to assert authority over me. There is no authority over me, Judge Boreski. I expect you, Judge, to be loyal to me at all times. Now, you haven't gotten caught on to that yet, but no matter what I do, you should be loyal to me, Judge Boreski. However, you don't have to expect me to be loyal to you. And what I mean by that, Judge, is why should I be loyal to the codes and laws and criminal procedure and all of that stuff? Why should I have to do that? I will criticize you, Judge, and expect you to accept it. But if you criticize me, especially in public, like you did, you made me get out of the room and everything. If you do that, I will come at you with my goddess powers. Oh, one more thing, Judge Boreski. I will never forget or forgive how you treated me in both of these trials. You just better believe it. And I will pay you back. I will pay you back one way or the other. People have known me as the wound collector. So I expect you to be interested in what I have achieved since we started trial and even before trial. I mean, look at all of the work I did. I mean, look at it all. Look at I did, Judge Boreski. And I, on the other hand, am not at all interested. I'm not interested at all in you or what you've achieved, Judge Boreski. The fact that you were appointed by the governor there, you have had a long history of law school and all of these things, these accolades. I don't care about none of them. And, so don't expect much curiosity from me or interest from me about your life. But you just better be sure to be interested in my life, Judge. When I go up onto the podium in my unicorn little ponytail and I'm talking in my sensual, sexual little girl's voice and all that stuff, I want you to be very interested, Judge Boreski. But just know this, Judge. I am not manipulative. I'm not manipulative. I just like to have things done my way. And no matter how much it inconveniences others, the court staff, any of these victims' family members, or the witnesses in this case, or anything else, I don't give a rat's ass, Judge Boreski. And I don't care how it makes you or anyone else, the public that wants to see justice done for Brandon Boudreaux, I don't care how they feel. Feeling feeling is weakness to me. I expect gratitude at all times for even the smallest things I do. And as for you, Judge Boreski, I expect you to do as I ask. I only associate with the best people. And you could have been in that group, Judge Boreski, but you went against me, so you're not one of the best people. And frankly, most of your associates and colleagues and friends and all that, they don't measure up. And that right there shows you right there that you, Judge Boreski, do not measure up. And finally, to finish my letter to you, Judge Boreski, I want to say, if you would just do what I say, things would be so much better. Signed, the hooker hussy Lori Daybell. Folks, as you can imagine, it is not easy living with or working with someone who thinks or behaves this way. So let's all encompass it environmentally. The experience of Lori's behavior teaches us the following: that narcissists overvalue themselves and devalue others. And that means the public, the judge, anyone. No one will ever be treated as Lori's equal. No one will ever be truly respected. And the judge and everyone else are going to be devalued by necessity, i.e. Lori Hussey Daybell is demon-possessed and she's a narcissist. All right? Everyone in time will be devalued out of necessity, and we've seen it. Okay? We've seen it in action. We've seen it in her serial murders. We've seen it in everything she's ever done. So the bottom line is this. Just 2 days into it, y'all, we are seeing a demonstration of Lori Hooker Hussey Daybell in action. Not as just pro se, however you want to deal with it. We're dealing with the reality. And when we think, why is she acting this way? Why would she do this? She's so wrong. She's so evil. She's so stupid. She's so all these things. But again, over and over and over again, we've talked about it, y'all. She is a narcissist. And as we move forward with tonight, we're going to the porch. So I threw in a little satirical nonsense. Hello, Beach Bum. Hello, Alicia, your only sunshine. We have Mary Sadler. We have Lori Leary. We have Kathy Benadero. We have just me. We have Bailey. We have Pam Keith. We have Sugarbutt Starburst. We have Vivian Lundgren. We have, oh my goodness, y'all. So glad y'all are here. What a week. The Journey to Justice. There we go. Rad Joe. Hello there. And thank y'all, mods, for helping out. Cameron, Stephanie Willow, Vixtex, all of y'all. Mike. Yes, it's a wig, Mike. I don't have the fountain on because I had to put a light on here because as we move forward, we're going to experience some darkness out here, right? So I want to hear your comments before I go into my content tonight. I want to hear your content, any of your comments. Good to be here again, says Cook Goose. Shimo, our power was going on and off. We had a serious line of showers come through Tennessee. Wayne and I was out on the boat earlier this morning. Y'all see I got a little sunburn here. Been out on the boat, only caught 2 fish. Excuse me. Harley 62. Hello, Francis Thompson. Hi. Wow. Hello, Salim Sonomi. Wow. I hadn't heard from y'all in a while. Yes, Vix Tex. The judge booted her out of court. And y'all, it's only 2 days into it. The woman is out of her mind and plans to continue her crazy, says Mary Sadler. Marilyn says the hussy sure put on a show yesterday. Harley 62 says, yay! All right, y'all. Some of y'all mods in here, please, could we get rid of some of these comments that have nothing to do with what we're discussing this evening? This channel is not for everyone, but everyone is welcome. All I'm saying is that we are discussing Lori Daybell and her trial with Brandon Boudreaux, a conspiracy to commit attempted murder. Thank you, Hope Grace. I appreciate that. Denise Grace says this hussy can't accept the word. No. Vixtech says this is a no-tro zone. All right, there you go. Well, now, Vixtech, you are now a moderator if you'd like to be one. If you don't, that's fine too, but you're going to be one if you want to be one there. So, am I too over the top about how Lori is by doing these satirical nonsense stuff? These things that she says and everything, it's almost like if you could just kind of get to the nitty gritty of who she is and what she's all about. The Journey to Justice says, will Lori make it without opening the door to let her past in? Well, the Journey to Justice, legally speaking, she already has. But Trina K and the judge are trying so hard to streamline all of this. Let me just put it to you like this. When Lori did her opening statement, she did open the door because she started bringing in her own character. It's just, the bottom line is this, y'all. She wants in this last trial for everyone to know that she's this wonderful, I love everyone, I'm all about love and all of this stuff. She's not really even, it's really a blanket statement before she goes out the door to go to Pocatello Women's Prison in Idaho. That's just an opinion, but that's what I think. Hello, Dora Opinion. Marilyn says the hussy's endless repetition drives me nuts. She gave me a serious migraine yesterday. Marilyn, I got a splitting headache because I guarantee you, she went down that whole list. She kept just, when she was cross-examining Brandon, just right after the other. Those were her advisor's questions. She just kept going down them. Those weren't ones she thought of. I guarantee you that. And she was just shooting them. She just kept talking about irrelevant shit. Trina K just let her go on. I would have been objective, relevancy, every damn question. But she allowed her to do it, and the judge was very... Y'all, I like Judge Boreski, but yes, he did throw out of court yesterday, and he did threaten her that he could take her her away from her, but he doesn't want to do that. He just wants to get this shit over with. That's all he wants to do, and he wants to do it right. He wants to do it neutral. He wants to be a neutral arbiter of justice. Kathy Benedero, she's already opened that door. I need y'all to understand that. Just because a door is open does not mean that the prosecution is going to go down that road. Remember when Trina K said,
Well, we'll just have to get I'll have to get different witnesses and all that. Do you think Trina K wants to do that when what she's got lined up will bust Lori and convict Lori? Lori wants to expand all this. Lori wants to just to let it all hang out just like her dang between her legs. You know, where Chad Daybell could jump in and be lost in it until they have to freaking back a truck in there with a crane and dang pull him out of her. Denise Gray says Lori is obsessed to her ego. She can't help herself. Mary Sadler says, do you notice she won't look at the judge? She acts like talk to the hand, but she killed 4 people. Right. And I never heard the judge yelling at her at all. He was stern. He was a distance away from her up at the judge's bench. I think the state is trying to stop Lori because they got a big trial. It will last weeks. Right. The attorney just exactly. You're right. She wants to dang blow this all out of proportion. This is her last hurrah. And she could do a lot worse, y'all, but she's not going to do a lot worse in terms of a mistrial or anything like that, in my opinion, because the bottom line is they'll just refile the charges and she'll sit her ass over there at Maricopa County Jail. And she hates being there. She's locked down 23 hours a day. Don't y'all think this narcissistic, demon-possessed woman wants to get back to Pocatello so she can fill out the general pop there, get on with her life, figure out who she can freaking manipulate, who she can get something from? Think about it. Pam Keith says, poor Brandon, he's a victim. She was horrible to that poor man. Well, let me just say this about Brandon Boudreaux. He did awesome. He rocked it. He was calm. He never got shaken. Yes, he got emotional on direct. And there were a few times that he, said things like, I just loved my family and wanted to save my family and all this and that. But the bottom line is he did good, and I guarantee you he came over well with the jury. Imagine being Brandon and having to sit through that after the pain she brought on his family, says Rad Joe. Think about that, y'all. KJ, what do you think about Lori throwing Melanie under the bus? Denise, she says she doesn't want to do third-party defense. But how can you look at it any other way? She's telling the judge outside of the presence of the jury, no, I'm not trying to say Melanie did this or that. Well, I'll tell you what. You know what I think? I think the state of Arizona needs to get their head out their ass, put Melanie Pulaski on the witness list, and go for it. Go for it. Lori opens the door about it. They need to bring Melanie Pulaski in. Of course, y'all, I guarantee you, Melanie Pulaski, Ian Pulaski have watched this whole thing play out, and I guarantee you they're puckering their asses. Melanie Pulaski should be ashamed of herself. That's all I got to say. She should be in jail. Harley62 says, I want to see how being zapped feels like. I want to see her zapped and make poop in her pants, says Harley62. Well, was it Friday or was it Thursday? I think it was Friday that we were at Difficult Research with Krisha K. Easton in the comments, and Trace on the Case was there in the courtroom, and they were talking about how they had to get a message about her zap belt or whatever, her stun belt, falling down a little bit, and how she's tried to use that before, and they're trying to co-opt or try to get her from not doing it again. So I'm telling you, go back to Difficult Research with Krish Case, and if you wasn't there, and watch that. In the comments, hit the live chat, look at all that, and see how they actually, from Krisha K. Easton of Difficult Research, the people that are involved with that channel was able to get a message to all of them in the court system there as like real time that her belt was starting to show. Pam Keith, when you say I'm happy that Melanie P might be facing charges, y'all, it's been 5 years, and I know there's always a snowball's chance in hell, but Melanie Pulaski's not going to be going to court for any of this. That she's just not. I'm sorry. That's my opinion, and I believe it. And any lawyer will tell you that. Even Nate Eaton has alluded to here and there how she was brainwashed and how she really didn't have nothing to do with anything. And if he's saying stuff like that, you know, Melanie's making sure she's out of town till the end of this trial, right? What are you talking about, Melanie Gibb? Melanie Gibb and Zulema are on Lori's witness list. How many of y'all, I want you to put it in the comments right now, how many of y'all think that either one or both will show up to be Lori's defense witnesses because they were subpoenaed and by law they have to be there? Put a 1 in the comment if you think at least one of them will be there. If you think both of them will be there, let me know. Put it in the comments right now. I want to know. Come on. Journey to Justice says no. Melanie Gibb and Zulema will not be there. Kathy Benedero says both of them will be there. Danny says both of them will be there. And if Mom says one of them will be there, Let's Travel says I don't think Lori will call any witnesses, and that's really a good guess because she had witnesses in her other trial with Charles Vallow, and she never called nobody. Stephanie Willis says one of them will show up. Edie Ruth says neither of them. Beach Lady says neither of them. Sugarbutt Starburst says one will show up. Marilyn says they are not reputable. And they're not, and they weren't reputable in the Idaho case. But the state of Idaho relied on them, and they should have freaking damn, instead of giving Zulema freaking damn use immunity there, they should have been putting her in a freaking jail cell and prosecuting her ass. Edie Ruth says, I doubt she even sent out subpoenas. Edie Ruth, she did. She said in open court in pretrial that they have sent the subpoenas out. Just Me says they weren't served. Harley62 says if they're subpoenaed and they don't go, what are the charges? Well, if they're subpoenaed and they aren't served, Harley62, then they won't get in any trouble. But if they've been served and they don't show up, they can get contempt of court. Gibb will show up in disguise like last time, big hat and sunglasses. She stood out like a sore thumb, says NF Mom. They didn't get served. They weren't home, says Just Me. And I trust Just Me. Okay, there are people that have been following this channel and specifically Difficult Research, which is the priority of all of it. Y'all, there are people on this channel and Crash's channel that are the freaking bomb, know what the hell they're talking about. This isn't, speculation. Jill Schneider says sending and being served are two different things. Hope Gray says neither they did not receive them or they're too late, I think. Kathy Barella says they are all in hiding. Well, isn't that their MO, Kathy Barella? Isn't that what it's always been about, being in hiding? Instead of them coming out and telling the truth about what they really did and how they behaved and how they egged on Chad and Lori by going, oh, we believe in you, Chad and Lori. Because Chad and Lori would have never been able to do what they did without believers. And, the top of the list was that lame brain, one slice of bread short of loaf, Alex Cox. Mary Sadler says, I thought they were served. Marilyn says, make me sick. Some of these demons are getting away with this. Marilyn, I promise you, honey. Look in OKJ's old ass eyes. Okay, this ugly mug of mine. I promise you, they're not getting away with it. They might get away with it in man's law, but I promise you this, it's going to follow them the rest of their days on this earth, and then they're going to have to face God Almighty, God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. That's all right. that's all right, Harley62. OKJ can't write always good either. They were subpoenaed by Lori, but the server could not deliver, and he tried 3 times at each house, says Denise Kodekis. I do not think either will show up for Brandon's case. Well, thank you for your comments, Denise. They have not been interviewed by the state. Good point, Edie. Right. Okay, there you go, y'all. Whether they've been served and all of that, that was something I left out. Edie's good at that. The bottom line is the state should have a chance to be able to talk to them before the trial and all that. So there you go. But who knows, y'all? The judge has kind of said, well, if this, in the last trial, if this guy will hurry up and do this or this or this, he even allowed this investigator in this case to bring in information in the trial. And the state is allowing it because I guess the state's like, this is bullshit, and we can knock this down. I don't know, y'all. There's going to be some serious issues. Not issues like, oh, Lori's not had a fair trial. It's going to be issues that people that have a legal, mindset, they're going to look at this and they're going to say, Lori got everything, the benefit of the doubt. Lori got all these things, even past deadlines. Lori was shown in open court. Any legal mind could tell y'all right now, those doors to bring in past character evidence of her, i.e. her serial killer nature and all of that. She can't get an appeal for that, but it does not look good for Arizona at all. It does not. Granny Whisperer says, I'm just getting here, but I'm still laughing at Lori on Friday. The bitch was showed the door. Yes. But he had to put his foot down finally, y'all. How many times? How many times had she done things and he'd sigh or he'd just go, if you could watch the judge's expressions, y'all, he was really trying. He really was. Marilyn Pastor, I agree with you 100%. You say both Melanies should be in jail. Oh, KJ's green eyes. Listen to KJ. Listen, y'all. The people that I listen to have been all of you. We have sought together a little justice through understanding. How many times have OKJ been wrong? I've been wrong and y'all set me straight. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all are the bomb. I love y'all all. Whose birthday is it? Whose birthday? And you know what? I don't give a rat's ass about Julie Rowe. Julie Rowe needs to go on, start peddling her bullshit with whoever will listen to those weak-minded people out here in the world. Julie Rowe needs to go on. Needs to go on. There's always going to be some crazy-ass people out here that's going to believe in old Julie Rowe. Easy Day says, I was cheering like the judge just ran the football into the end zone when she got kicked out. She couldn't get out. He couldn't get her out of there fast enough, y'all. Oh my gosh. I zoomed in right before she went out the door. She didn't know whether she looked good in the situation or she looked bad at it. In that moment, her mind went blank, y'all, in my opinion. When he stood up and started talking, I knew he was done. Oh, yes, Vivian. She was very disrespectful. And in terms of court etiquette and decorum and all that, there's just no way. There's no way. But then again, y'all, some of y'all have watched these other people. What was who that? Daryl Brooks and others. Just, this stands alone, y'all. And guess what, y'all? starting on Monday. It's only day 3. I mean, think about all of everything that has happened. And I will state this, that Brandon Boudreaux absolutely did incredible. I am so proud of him. Just Me says it's okay to be wrong as long as you can say so. I love words of wisdom, Just Me and others. Arizona is trying to redeem itself from dropping the ball. Arizona didn't think there was enough evidence on Chad Daybell. Well, I'm sure these juror members are wondering who, is Melanie Pulaski going to testify? I'm wondering if they think, who the hell is Chad Daybell? Is he going to, these people are supposed to not know anything, right? Mary Sadler says, Julie Rowe is weird as a toad. Hi, Rebecca Helt. Granny Whisper says she loved Chad, and I think she was just jealous when he picked, she loved Chad, and I think she was jealous when he picked Lori. You're talking about Melanie Gibb. Well, how about this? Try this on for size, Granny Whisper. In terms of Chad and Lori or Melanie Gibb or any of these crazy-ass nut jobs, they don't know what real love is. They don't know what real love is. That's my opinion. Yes, Rebecca. Lori's face when she went to go out that door, she was blushing and all that. Y'all, did Lori shoot the finger at the judge when she was removed? No, Red Joe. I don't know where you heard that. I looked. Trust me, I looked at everything because, see, OKJ does like to look at the demeanor of somebody. If I can look in their eyes, I like that as well. It helps me to get the justice through understanding that I defined in my life. Now, whatever your definition of justice through understanding, or whether you don't like justice through understanding or whatever, that's your own business. But OKJ, no, it didn't happen. Harley62 says, you are simply a human being making errors with a heart. I love that. Think about that, y'all. Think about that saying. You are simply a human being making errors, but you're doing it with a heart. Folks, isn't that beautiful? Her face was awfully red when he showed her to the door. I was thrilled. Yes, exactly. Hi, Lisa Discovers. Beach Lady says, I started dancing. Sugarbutt Starburst says she thought it was funny to flip off the judge, too. Y'all, I didn't see her flip off the judge. Maybe somebody needs to put a link on the community wall on any of my posts and say, hey, KJ, because I read every single word that all of you say. And I'll click on that link and you can show me where she put the middle finger up, but I didn't see it. Says, I think it's hilarious how Lori keeps looking back to the gallery to see if Kay is looking at her. Just cracks me up. Well, I guarantee you this. Kay Woodcock has rose above the evil, diabolical nature of Lori Hooker Daybell. Kay Woodcock is there to support Brandon Boudreaux. She is there with love in her heart. For not only him, she considers him family, but for her family, she is a representation that we should all look to. Because Kay Woodcock is a good woman. Look at her daughter, Cresha. You talking about, that says it all right there. Kathy Benadero says, God works in mysterious ways and he knows what Lori did. She will be washing the feet of murder victims. Judge Boreski looked like an avenging angel standing there, finally telling her how rude she had been and sending her to the dungeon. Hope we have a verdict by Father's Day weekend. It's a good comment, Denise. So, y'all, let me get through this because, again, we've all got our own views of who Lori is and what she's all about. We all know she's a serial killer. We all know she's evil, diabolical. At least I think so. She's narcissistic and all of that. But I want y'all to understand the way that OKJ, when I see her behave in these ways, I want y'all to understand what I'm seeing. Besides the demon possession, I have to look at the narcissism. And yes, she has had a diagnosis of narcissistic features. Judge Boyce said that in open court in Idaho. So, we're talking about hyper religiosity with narcissistic features. Okay? And I'm not here to make fun of anyone's mental health issues, but I will say this. If someone's going to have, use that as a reason for murdering children, for Tammy, Charles, try to kill Brandon, I feel like she killed Joe Ryan through Alex Cox. The bottom line is that I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and I'm going to have to accept the consequences of what I think the deal is. So, Lori may simply have these thoughts about needing to be special or wanting extra attention. And because that is the case, we're not talking about at the time of her crimes, okay? Because that was demon possession to me. I'm talking about today, while she's walking around in court in her gray jacket, acting like her pro-per and all of that. In my mind, I have to say, okay, looking in totality of narcissism and how that is and how much it lines up with how she's behaving, it really does show it, y'all. These are some thoughts that I don't know she's having, but it's very predictive, y'all, of narcissism. So I'm sitting here looking at you saying Lori could very well be having these thoughts as she went through all these trials up to this one that she is currently in. She is saying to herself, they're wasting their time on all of these rules and procedures. They're wasting their time the state is wasting their time trying to bring out the fact that Brandon loved his family and humanizing him, because I don't humanize anyone, says Lori, in her own mind. I need something, says Lori, to make them stop thinking about the rules, the codes, the courtroom decorum, the witnesses, and how the state wants the jury to see them. I want them to look at me. That's what's going on in my opinion. She's also says in her mind over and over through all of this, can't any of these people, whether it's the public, whether it's the courtroom personnel, whether it's the witnesses, whether it's the prosecution, whether it's the judge, anyone in her realm, anywhere in her environment right there, they can't see how superior she is. And she's saying to herself, I matter more than anyone else here. And you can see that in her interviews, not only with Keith Morrison, but also this other woman who has interviewed her twice while she's been in jail. In my opinion, she's saying, I know what's going on better than anyone else here. And she's also saying, my opinion is most important here, and that they should be listening to me. And it's frustrating, Lori, because in her mind, she really is saying these things to herself. I deserve the best, is what Lori is saying. She's saying these things to herself in her mind. It's like a reel that goes over and over and over. And it all starts with what, y'all? As she's thinking these thoughts, what starts, y'all? Denial. Denial. Denial distorts reality so that Lori can live in an inflated bubble of her own fantasy world to protect what, y'all? Her fragile ego. She distorts, she rationalizes, she twists facts, and she deludes herself to avoid anything that may cause a chink in her armor, y'all. Which her armor is so thick, no amount of evidence in any of her trials, y'all. The damning evidence that convicted her and made her a serial killer. All this evidence or the argument. No amount of evidence or argument can get through to her. She does not see. Oh, damn. That's so damning. That's so damning what was just said on the stand. Or that's so damning the evidence, which we will see this week, y'all, where she and Alex and even Chad at one point are bringing in and out a freaking damn Jeep seat attire. She's not going to say, oh, damn, they got me on that. She doesn't even see it. She's in denial. And then she goes from denial, y'all, to projection. We've said this many a time. And what, y'all? Blame. Projection and blame. It's her defense mechanism. Denial, projection, blame. It's her defense mechanism because of her narcissism. It enables unacceptable feelings, thoughts, or qualities to be disowned and mentally or verbally attributed to someone else. Blame shifts responsibility. So Lori, being the narcissist, she's blameless. This defense mechanism serves the same function, and it's really absolutely incredible, y'all. But this defense mechanism of projection and blame, it absolutely serves the same function as what? What we just started with, denial. It's all interwoven. Projection, though, is an unconscious process. So when I talk about her thoughts earlier about, she says they're wasting their time on other people and blah, 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 that is conscious. But on an unconscious level, projection is an unconscious process whereby a narcissist doesn't have to experience anything negative. Lori doesn't have to experience anything negative at all, but sees it as external, away from her. Those traits of projection and blame they're projected onto someone else or a group of people instead. Let me just say it like this. Because of her narcissism, with her projection and blame, she could be projecting the public at large. She's projecting it onto you. She is projecting it onto you. Now, she doesn't know you personally or anything else. Generally speaking, she's blaming you. She's projecting everything that everyone knows about her. She's saying other people are. You become the one. Lori becomes the one who is selfish, weak, unlovable, or worthless if she doesn't project and blame. So she, in essence, is saying that you're selfish, that Brandon's selfish, that Judge Boreski's selfish, that anyone who's against her is selfish, weak, unlovable, or worthless. And because they're, for instance, unlovable and worthless, why does she give a rat's ass whether she upsets Judge Boreski in his court? Projection is very crazy, y'all. It's making and damaging the self-esteem by what she's doing. She's damaging her self-esteem more and more and more by the fact that she projects and blames others. She is destroying herself through her narcissism. But most importantly, because she has blamed others and because she has projected things onto others, think about it like this. What did she do to her children? She said her children had demons in them. Y'all, she was projecting. She had a demon inside of her, and she projected that. She projected that onto her children, and she murdered her children. So a narcissist has dominant thought patterns. This isn't just my opinion. If you want to look psychiatry, psychology, any of that, okay, Jay, I took a few courses in that in college. Didn't help me a damn bit until I got to researching. But a narcissist, as he is, has dominant thought patterns. So what are her dominant thought patterns? Number one, she could very well be saying, and we've seen evidence of it already. She says to herself in her thoughts, I have the worst luck. She said that in her last interview with that woman in the jail there. Narcissists are hesitant to self-examine or criticize themselves out loud, so any critical thought they think about themselves are typically kept silent and private. In a narcissist's mind, they are never as good as they want to be, though. And this is what I need y'all to understand as we move forward with the Brandon Boudreaux trial and the way that she behaves in all of this. Lori doesn't think she's never going to be rich enough, never beautiful enough, popular enough, talented enough, successful enough, etc. Deep down, that's exactly how she feels, and that's why her narcissism and all the defense mechanisms come into play where she thinks she's elite, and she's a goddess, and the warrior beyond the millennium, all of those things. While someone without this condition of narcissism is typically able to recognize that there is more to life than superficial achievement and material wealth, Lori isn't able to realize this, y'all. She's just not. Think about that. Let's stop for a second. Lori cannot realize that there's more to life than being powerful or a goddess or the queen of the 144,000 or a translated being or, I love everyone, she says in her opening statement. I'm here about love. Think about it, y'all. She really cannot realize this. She just uses that defense mechanism of making people think she knows that she's all these things. Her ego is so big to protect her. And y'all, when I hear that, it hurts me because I know there are people out here in the world that may not be narcissists but have some of these things about them where they just don't want to, they want to think everything's okay, but deep down something's wrong. But I have no sympathy for this woman. She had no sympathy for her victims. She is absolutely capable, y'all, of confessing with her mouth what she did. She knows right from wrong. Everybody does, unless they have some severe mental disability or something to that effect. But you know what I'm talking about. Narcissists never had the opportunity to learn boundaries. Think about that. The boundaries that Lori, throughout growing up and all of that. Do y'all have any evidence at all that she ever had any real boundaries? Because I'll say this. All right, and some people might take this the wrong way, but I'm going to say it. When you believe in a faith like that, then the door is wide open for no guardrails. Nothing. Nothing. There is no stability in it. When people in that faith say, well, I don't know about it, but I'm open to hearing about it. Folks, God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit, the Holy Bible, God's holy word, the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld His glory, the only begotten of the Father, which is Jesus Christ. That should be enough for anyone. Not none of this pendulum swinging bullshit. None of this doing this casting stuff. None of this malachite. None of this bullshit. It is not reality. It's not real in spirituality or anything else. So what is Lori doing right now as she is locked down 23 hours a day over the weekend here, y'all? And by the way, she got over that illness real quick from Monday being in a wheelchair. I mean, come on, y'all. Come on. What is going on in her mind right now? None of us know. None of us will ever know. But according to her diagnosis, here is a good indication. Lori will spend much of her free time, well, she isn't free, but let's just, for sake of argument, she'll spend much of her free time analyzing and replaying conversations, events, and situations in her mind over and over and over again. Now, let's stop. Now, you look at OKJ. Have you ever, been around people, like, say you went to a social event or something, and you came home and you thought, oh, did I say something wrong? You think about, did I say anything? You know, there was no indication there was something wrong. I'm just going back and thinking about how I behaved that evening, right? For a narcissist, they replay it over and over in their mind. Lori Shirley, being the narcissist she is replaying over and over in her mind where Judge Boreski says, you have not been courteous to me. You have not. And when a judge is telling her this, think about it. Think about everything that was said in court by Brandon or other witnesses. She's replaying these things. She's mostly replaying what she said, because really that's all that matters is what she said. Because narcissists have no idea how to interpret their own emotions, y'all. Y'all, do you know how to interpret your own emotions? Do you know when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're angry, when you're depressed, when you're all this? I'm pretty sure. I'm almost 100% positive, but you know there's always that 1%. But I'm just telling you now, I'm sure most of y'all know what your emotional makeup is, and you know when you're feeling it and all this and that. She does not. Does that give her a pass? No, because she still knows right from wrong. If she can't feel the emotion of being a mother who would allow her children to be murdered like that, then she does absolutely know that it's against the law. So, I don't give her a pass at all. Because narcissists have no idea how to interpret their own emotions, they rely on what was said and done as the explicit truth. Let me repeat that. Lori is relying on what was said and done as the explicit truth. This causes Lori to frequently rehash the past, bring up old conversations, or maybe perhaps Lori, the way Lori was treated in her own mind. She thinks the world's against her. They will tell you that they are the most empathetic people around. And Lori said that she's all about love, isn't she? In fact, Lori may go a step further and explain that she can feel the vibes in the room as soon as they walk in, or that they're dreadfully sensitive to the moods and states of others. Y'all, that is Lori Daybell right there. She absolutely, she already has it in her mind that she can read people and all that stupid shit. And don't get me wrong, we all, as human beings, every damn one of us, I believe, have the gift to be able to sense through body language and verbalizations and all that how people are. If someone's having animosity toward you, whether someone's being friendly to you, I get that. We're talking about that. We're talking about Lori thinks if you're not for me, you're against me. And from there, right in that moment, they're against me. Everything, it doesn't matter what they say, what they do. They are a demon. They are a zombie. They are against her mission and yada, yada, yada. While these are the right words used to describe empathy on paper, this is not actually what a narcissist is experiencing. In other words, if I sat down and wrote out, this is the definition of empathy, this is how you're supposed to be feeling and stuff, and all of that, this is not actually what a narcissist is experiencing. What a narcissist does when they walk in the room is size it up. They begin a process of hyper-analyzation that they have developed to give themselves feedback about what, y'all? Not about everyone else. It's about her own performance. Lori struggles with feelings of emptiness because she depends on the admiration of others to build her self-esteem. Period. End of sentence. How much has anyone built her self-esteem through their admiration since she damn got busted back in, February, beginning of March of 2020 when her ass got damn arrested in Hawaii? This prevents Lori from developing a positive emotional connection with herself and makes her loneliness and sadness and numbness and disconnectedness and emptiness even more profound. To sum it all up, what we're facing starting Monday, we've only been through 2 days right now. What we're facing is that Lori can only maintain, y'all. She can only maintain a facade of charm for a limited amount of time before it becomes diarrhea of the mouth. She may exhibit a quality of warmth and spew compliments for a short duration, but we all need to remember this ability, like all the other interpersonal abilities in her arsenal, is performance-based. It isn't natural, nor is it easy for Lori Hussey Daybell. Let me say that before I close. Her performance in the courtroom, I hope you will think about what OKJ has said. It's not natural, nor is it easy for her to perform the way she's performing. So, I hope y'all have learned something. I've learned something. I look through the lens now, not just of her narcissism, but the fact that I know in my heart of hearts this woman is demon possessed. But then again, y'all, I have the faith that I have, and I can look at it, and I can see it for what it is. And I'm not asking you to believe that at all, but you can look at narcissism, and you can see what we are all going to experience until the trial of the attempt on Brandon Boudreaux's life is completed, she's convicted, and then, folks, then we will absolutely get into the sentencing. and the victim impact statements. And make no mistake, it does not matter what Brandon or anyone who gets up there, Kay Woodcock for her brother Charles. Lori cannot feel that hurt, cannot feel that at all. And in fact, she does not care. Because you know why? Whatever Kay Woodcock says about Charles Vallow and how much she misses him, or how much Brandon Boudreaux's life changed because of what she did to him and his family, breaking his family up and stuff. If Lori was really so, a goddess and everything, she'd have done everything she could to make sure that Melanie Pulowski would get and stay with Brandon Boudreaux, go to marriage counseling, do all those things. But no, she was too busy devouring. That's why I believe in demon possession, because Satan wants to devour all that's good. So just remember this. It's all unnatural. She can't, it's nothing organic, good, or anything about it. And I hope you've learned something again, and I have, and I thank y'all. Please leave your comments. Let me know. Let me know what you think of what I've said, because it's important to me. It's very important to me. It helps me to get justice through understanding. Truly, y'all. Sincerely. Y'all know I love you. You know I care. So with that being said, take a good, hard look at Lori come Monday morning, and through the rest of the trial, through that lens here and there. Doesn't have to be completely through it, but you'll understand just a little bit more. And it took the raise, research, analysis, and you. That's what it took. So I love you all. Thank you, mods. Thank you for all you do. Thank you all, the Rays and others, for being here. And I'll see y'all Monday at Difficult Research. And keep on looking.